Welcome, challengers, to Battleground of the Gods, a Smite podcast. I am your host, Dep Nation, and joining me today we have Fro Double G
What's up, everybody?
and Blaise McBain.
1 + 1 does equal 2.
Can confirm I took high school math, and that is how that works. I took elementary math, and it was still the same. One of those might have happened before the other, but not in the order that I said them.
I've been on TikTok way too much lately because I just looked at the show note and saw spicy combos, and I'm like, whoa, hold up here, Dep. Hold
What?
up here. No, check the link for, no check in the bio for spicy links. Hold up.
Oh! I thought that was still accountant, not spicy.
No, that's the job you
man.
have, is you're being an accountant.
Okay. Well, apparently I missed that. I just call them thirst traps. I call them as I sees them, which is often.
I tried not to laugh because I was like, where do I go? There's no follow-up for me on that one. I tried and my brain was like, nope, got nothing.
No, Blaise is like, I'm a married man. I'm a married man. I'm a married man.
Well, when your wife sends you the thirst traps, it's okay to watch them.
That's true.
I mean, realistically, if we're going to
How
be
many-
adults here for a minute, it all depends on the dynamic of everybody's relationship independently, right?
Yeah.
But
Well, boys, we've got another week of smiting under our belts. Let's
Supposedly.
throw it to supposedly Blaise. And
oh, can we throw it to Fro so I can close my Smite
Oh.
game?
we can throw it to Fro.
Yeah, I'll pass it to
Let's
throw.
go supposedly Fro.
Yeah, just so I can, get it out of my close the game. So, I played a few games yesterday with Bombi and who was it? Bombi, Dunk. There was a third. Let me check. I think it was Murfenick. Yep.
Oh, yep.
They were good
Yeah.
games. We were pulling dubs. We were doing well. Except, okay, there were. To start off with, our first 3 games, right? And this is why I bring it up. We're not doing so well. We had a Slash and I was Vulcan. We had an Assault where I was Chiron, and we had a Conquest where I was playing Najah. By the way, Najah feels really good right now. Like, Assassins feel really good right now. So, yeah. I was kind of being a bit of a salty cunt. By a lot. To the point where I was like, after the end of the third game, I'm like, guys, I'm just being a dick. I'm gonna go ahead and sign off. I'm not in a good headspace right now. You guys are being too nice for, like, you are not. This is all unwarranted, undeserved. I'm being an asshole. I'm gonna remove myself from the situation, right? So I just hopped off. I still stayed in calm though, because like I wasn't mad at them or anything. I was just being salty. Hung out for a bit. Dep was chilling with us too, chit-chatted, and then I end up coming back a little bit later. And then we went on a winning streak.
Hell yeah.
Oh shit. I lied. I didn't end up coming back later to play with them. I just end up coming back later to play with Smite. I don't end up hanging out with them until they took off. Young Silent Reveries end up hitting me up. Old Bryce himself hit me up at like midnight as I'm chilling in Blaise's stream, and he's like, "Hey, let's play some Smite." I'm like, "All right, let's play some Smite." Like, I'm just
Those
chilling.
were good cues, by the way.
And yeah, I
The-
told
the
him, I was like,
Bryce
"Yeah, I
12
signed off because I was
12
being a
cues.
salty cunt. Like, I'm just letting you know that right now, like out in the open."
Mm-hmm.
But he'd been drinking. And I'm like, "Well, good. We're in a good space.
Well,
I'm
good.
salty. You're
Yes.
drunk. Like, this can't be too bad." And I'd already cheered up by then.
Yeah.
And we were playing with his buddy Font. Don't fucking remember Font's full name, but Font, who knows how to play Neath and one other god that I don't remember. But that should get your point. We're slamming some assault cues with this guy. We're having fun. We're having a blast. I ended the night on a Sylvanas game where I went 2-8 and 26, right? which stat line's not the greatest, but
But that's a hell of a respectable amount of assists.
that's
It
that's
is.
the
That's a
thing.
good
That's
amount of
that's a
assists.
lot of assists, and to the
Your
point
team's
where
getting 3 kills before you go down.
yeah, to the point where my team or like Bryce and his buddy are like fucking Sylvanas carry, because at one point Bryce is on Rat, he dives in on them right with his ult, and like way by himself, but I'm like running up behind him. I got my blink ult ready, and then I'm just kind of waiting. I'm waiting for a second, and then for whatever reason, their Giannis and another one of their squishies get up to like melee range to Bryce, right? To like surround him. And I'm like, oh, now's my time. And I just fucking blink ult, just bam, just fucking blast them with the good old ult. They all get knocked up. Dude, we just fucking like 3 of them gone, like almost instantly. And it's like, all right, there we go. There we go. And it was a very back and forth, like most of the match, right? Like they'd push, we'd push. It was a brawl. Obviously, I had 26 assists. But yeah, that very end right there. And it's just like, hell yeah. It was a good end. I love Sylvanas. Sylvanas is so fun. I do gotta
He's
say
really
though,
good right now.
we had a Zeus that was pissing me the fuck off in this match, right? So this Zeus, right? Let me read you his build on a Zeus in Assault. Actually, first,
Can I
let
guess
me
an
read
item?
you my build and see if you can pick up on some things that I was trying to do for my team on Sylvanas, right? I had Sentinel's Embrace. We had Heartward Amulet with the upgraded glyph. We had Sovereignty, Thebes. We had Lotus Sickle, right? So I'm providing my team. And finish off with a Fabulest at the very, very end of that, right?
Yep.
I am giving between.
You're
Let me do some
literally
quick maths. Let's see. That's 15.
Nothing you do does not support the team.
25.
Even if you're missing abilities.
Let's see.
Yeah.
That's 15 plus 25 would be there's 40 plus, and let's see. Let's say that's split amongst. Just for my simplicity of the math, we'll split it 5 ways, right? Well, there's 5 of us, so we'll split it 5 ways. 16. That's what 56 prots of both I was giving to everybody on the team, right? That's when I had my heal going. Otherwise, it was down 15.
Yeah.
Our Zeus was still like, you know what I need to do? First off, I'm gonna get Warrior's Axe starter, right?
Oh,
So we got the Warrior's
yes.
X starter, and it's like, okay, I can see it as a starter. Okay, all right, a tank item or 2 at the start, or towards the middle, makes a little bit of sense. His second item was Cloak, Prophetic Cloak.
Oh, he's a Sundering Axe gamer, is what you're telling me.
No, not yeah.
Oh, beautiful. All right, I like where this is going.
But we realized this as we're like, yo, this Zeus literally was able to drop ult. Like, I saw it. He did all the things. He pushed all the buttons the right way. He dropped ult. He hit 3 when he had, 2-3 charges on it. He threw out his shield, got more lightning bolts on them, and then fucking did his thing again. And nobody was hurting. And we're like, what the fuck is going on, dude? Like, this dude does 0 fucking damage. What the fuck? And then that's when I open it up and I'm like, oh no. And then at the very end, because we think he's turned it around, because he ends up buying a Soul Reaver. He ends up buying a Divine Rune, and he did start with a Tablet of Destiny, right? So it's like, okay, right, he's got some damage. And at the very end, he's like, I'm going to slap on a Contagion. And it's like, what in the fuck are you doing? Where is your damage? Stop it.
That is
Half your
tragic.
build is tank. And the worst part is, because we got Fort,
No
right,
pen.
on Alpoash.
No
for
pen.
his, no, he had
No
pen.
pen.
He had Divine Ruin. If I said something else,
okay.
I meant Divine Ruin. I'm sorry. And we had out Fort on Alpoash for his very first time, right? And he's doing well for a first timer. We got Bryce on Rat, me, a Bologna, and a Tank Zeus. It's like, dude, you are the fucking damage, right? I'm like, yeah, we have an Alpoash, but and then no one knows he was the first timer. But still, look at the rest of the team. Why did you fucking think you needed Tank?
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
There's this weird little balance in Smite, right? And he went too far over this balance. And the balance is being tanky enough to live through things, right? And being able to do damage to stay threatening. Now, mages on this balance, usually just are heavily pushed over to the do so much damage they're threatening, right? And they have the zero tank. And I can understand wanting to bring it back towards the middle a little bit, buy a defense item to survive. I get that. I really do. Go play some duel. It's the meta. But when you take half your build on someone who is lacking CC at all, and or like Prot Shredder, anything outside of damage, the only thing Zeus does is damage, and you try to slide that bar too far over to the tanky department, you're not threatening anymore. And that's what this Zeus was, and that was part of our problem. Like, it's the thing where he actually ended up making himself a bit more of a target because he wasn't threatening. I mean, he ended up doing well. He went 18, 5, and 13. I personally think it's maybe because he had a Sylvanas just absolutely fucking destroying anybody who tried to fuck with him.
Get at him.
Yeah. With an Alpwatch who understood the assignment. Hey, just throw your shit and explode it on top of me.
Yep.
So, which, by the way, I'm like, yeah, you just do your little combo thing. I'm going to try to root people and pull them towards me, so just aim at me. Just aim at me. Yeah. I'm going to be next to somebody. Like, I'm not going to be too far away. Just do it at me. It'll work. But yeah. So those were my games yesterday. And specifically the one game that was really fun. The only other thing I have to touch on is the Diamond Challenge that we brought up.
Uh-huh.
So we thought, hey, warriors are rather limiting, right? There's not many of them. They're not a lot of people's favorite to play. Not many people enjoy playing them in general, right? Often, at least. Occasionally here and there, right? So we're like, hey, mages. It's the complete opposite. There's a whole bunch of them. Everybody loves mages. Everybody loves to go big damage. We didn't think about the fact, and I'm not sure if the other hosts have noticed this. We didn't think about the fucking fact that we're like, hey, let's play a bunch of mages in a goddamn tank meta. Dude, I've been playing Vulcan and getting my shit pushed in. You think they give a fuck about that turret? They give no fucks about the turret. They give no fuck. They don't, man, they can have the tower and the turret fucking shooting them and they laugh at me. I've seen it happen this week. Fuck me, okay? It was a horrible decision. I mean, I've been having fun playing Vulcan, but holy shit, is it rough on them streets out there, boys?
You know?
What I got from this is that towers are bad still. That's what I got from this.
I mean, and mitigations are really strong still.
Yeah, mids are still strong. I don't know, dude. Mages are kind of popping off, at least in play-ins. But they are limited to like a very select few that we've been seeing. Also, you know, tablets
like,
a thing
name the mages
that I don't agree with.
Because remove the ADC mages first off.
No, mages are popping off.
Okay, no, I believe you, but name the mages.
Merlin, Tiamat, like they're all getting high value and playing really, really well. Agni.
I heard a lot of range and a lot of AoE artillery in that.
Yeah.
Vulcan has a little,
right?
Like
Vulcan's got a little bit of. I've been having a rough time.
So like, yeah, I would say Vulcan I think is rough because like you have to have the team around you to set him up in a lot of ways. So like when he's by himself, he is like susceptible to the ganks and being put down for sure.
And I think it's not that mages are necessarily bad, right? It's just I can't kill a tank when they run at me right now, right?
You can't.
A Vulcan can't, right? Other mages probably can handle themselves a little better. I haven't been able to on a Vulcan. And meanwhile, every mage is able to just destroy Jiminy instantly, the turret, right? Assassins are strong right now, and they are just eating my asshole alive. Like it's horrible.
I have some thoughts on assassins and mages.
So you know, maybe it's not necessarily that it's bad for mages. You know, maybe I was being a little hyperbole there, but it's definitely not the best time to be playing Vulcan.
Yeah, Vulcan.
Oh, by the way, whoever the fucking 5-star Vulcan player that's going to respond to this, shut the fuck up. Okay, Mr. 5-star Vulcan. If you do not see the difference here between me trying to get him to diamond and Mr. I got 100 hours on him? Shut up. I'm not talking to you.
Yeah.
So Blaise, how about you? Now that I can close my game.
Okay. I think I do want to start off with something a little bit different for my games. Plans have been this weekend, and we have seen some of the best throws uh, in Smite this weekend. Some people have had 20K leads and lost the game, still down a deficit. Trying to make it into Pro League. That's really rough. Things I'm tired of seeing. Assassins are strong. That does not mean you play Loki ADC. For the love of God, please stop.
Why not?
Loki, Neja ADC. I've seen it. It didn't go well.
Set
It's
ADC
going to be
went
in my
well.
casuals. Set ADC did go well. Set is different though than
That is built
Loki
different.
and Neja. I can almost get behind a little bit. I feel like Neja, given the right comp, can play well. I think Set does a lot of the same things that you kind of want to do in an ADC, and he has range. He has very good range poke, which Neja has too. So I'm not going to argue against the Neja as much. It's kind of like we see like Clean ADC work. Loki was getting blasted, dude. That he'd go in and like if it wasn't the double dive assassin comp from the jungler and the ADC, it just went bad. Because you have to look for a pick and immediately leave. Because if you get looked at by the enemy ADC, you're gonna get bopped.
That is
if
very
that's not who
true.
you got to
But
go on.
I do feel like there's a hidden item that a lot of Loki players don't pick up that they don't realize is almost made for Loki. Called
The Shadow
Serrated
Drinker?
Blade.
Oh, that item's cracked.
I don't know why.
Item's super good.
You will rarely see Loki players pick it up. Even though it's like, hello, what do you do on Loki? You go in and you literally dump all your abilities.
Mm-hmm.
And if the dude doesn't die, you want to whack him with a couple, 2, 3 more autos, right?
Yep.
This will help. It really does. You should give it a shot, guys. It's not like core, but it's pretty strong. Like once you get your Jotuns and your fucking Heartseeker, what's the other item I'm drawing a fucking blank on? Trans. You are. It's something to look at. But yeah.
Yeah, I think Serrated definitely slept on. But I'm just throwing it out there. If you want to go back and watch some crazy games, there's been some throws. I mean, like 2 Phoenixes down. You think they're going to win the game? That team's the one that loses. It's been a wild time. I don't know. I haven't got to watch all of them. We do know that the Eldritch Hounds did qualify yesterday, so we're waiting to see who the other SPL team is going to be.
Wait, the who?
But Eldritch Hounds.
Say that again.
Eldritch Hounds.
The first part now.
You say it
Eldritch.
again. Yeah. I say it slowly.
Yeah, that's
That's how they say it on the cast. Am I saying it wrong?
Do
Am I
they?
crazy?
I think there is an H at the end,
There
right?
is.
So
Yeah.
would then not
Eldritch.
Eldritch.
Okay, whatever, dude.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. As a fan of
heard
D&D,
Eldrick. Eldrick.
And-
I'm like,
Eldrick.
who the fuck is Eldrick?
Eldritch.
as a fan of D&D, and someone
It's
who
like somebody's
warlocks are my second favorite class, and I
warlocks are
say
fun
I would
class.
like to cast Eldritch Blast quite a bit.
Yeah.
You should fuck with them, Fro.
You
and
know
say,
how many
"I wanna
times
cast Eldrick
I-
Blast.
you know
Eldritch.
how many times I played D&D?
How's that?
Once. And there
Okay.
wasn't a warlock there, so I would not know.
Okay, fine. Well, then sounds like we're playing D&D
I'm now
again.
the wiser. I'm now the wiser. Whatever, dude. There's an H. I don't know. 1 + 1's 2. This is where we are.
It's like, I am a math teacher, motherfucker.
I get corrected on my spelling all this time by this one student, and they'll be wrong. Like I'll be right about my spelling. They're like, I don't think that's spelt right. I'm like, I'm looking at it. I'm looking back at them like it's right. And then they look it up, and then I'm still right. But now I'm questioning everything about my life when I go to spell stuff. And here we are.
It's like when you say a word enough that you begin to question, is that actually the proper way of saying it? And is it actually a word? Like the word frank.
Yeah, electronical, not a word, but I grew up thinking it was.
Wait,
for the longest
electronical?
time. Yep, not a word.
Because it'd be
Mechanical.
electronic.
Yeah,
Yeah, it'd be electronic.
yeah. But years. people let me get away with that, and that's unfortunate. That should have been, yeah.
It sounds like it. Yeah, it sounds like I've heard it before, but
sounds like a word.
Mechanical is a word. Mechanic is someone who works on mechanisms. So you would think electronic is someone who works on
electronics. But that's not the case.
That is not the case. And so I could see how you got there. That's not a bad one.
It's not, but like when you find out it isn't, and then like other words that you think are there's no shot it's a word in the dictionary.
That's farcical.
And
that's farcical.
It's a sad time. But as far as my games go, I mean, I got Surtur to Diamond. Yay for that. I'm not getting a Pinta on that god. I gave up on that dream.
Yeah.
I've been playing Hachi, man. Shoutouts to Embright for donating.
Hachi's kind of fun. I like
yeah,
him. I wish he was better. I wish he.
Flashback to 2 episodes. Hashi's ass.
Oh no, hold on. Wait. I got. This is leading into something. Don't worry.
All right.
I have to play Hachi 17 more times.
What the fuck?
Because Embright donated money for the charity stream, and I was like, "Hey, what do you want?" And he was like, "How much are God requests?" I was like, $5. And he was like, all right, Hachi. And I was like, okay. He goes, just do like 5 games. I was like, unless you tell me what else you want of the incentives, that's 20 Hachi Man games. So I have 17 more to go. I said, I'll spread them out for you. He goes, yeah, that'd be good.
Wait,
so, we got 17 more to go.
I'm a little confused here.
Mm-hmm.
So $5 for a God request.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You do 5 games?
No, he only got 3 games in.
I've done 3 so far. He told me not to do the 20 in a row. I mean, I would.
So did he do the $100 donation to get 20 games?
That's what he did.
Okay.
He did it over time. Well, he didn't do like he could have done a blindfold game, by the way. But he decided that Hachi Man was the key. He can still change it. There's still time. But until I'm told something else,
there's only been $15 used so far.
Yeah, Hachi Man's still going to be getting played until he gets down to no more games played.
That's
respectable.
Crazy.
I really should just queue a whole night of Hachi Man. I'm just going to name the stream title Hachi Man that night, and every game, it doesn't matter the role, what mode I'm playing, I'm just playing Hachi Man.
Hell yeah. We love that.
I did go 8-0-7 on him.
You probably should put a cap on that.
On what? On Hachi Man games? It was for charity. I'm good.
Oh, okay. Never mind.
Never
mind. No. We opened that shit up for charity.
Stream-wise, yeah, the stream ticker where you get to choose my god, that has a cap for a reason.
Oh, yeah.
Because I got big spenders that just save to do terrible things. Kenny Alpha, Aereo, VO.
Yeah, I try to fight Nev every now and then, but it's like I have to catch her at the beginning of the stream or at the end, and it's like, really?
Oh, I just do it whenever it comes up. It comes up, I'm full sending it.
I wholeheartedly don't even request that from Nev anymore. She's refunded it too many times. Like I've already given up that Nev's ever going to do the 1v1 against me. The dream of having depth
right off the rip.
And I've done it right off the rip. I've done it right off the rip. She says, I'm not warmed up yet. You get a game in, then all of a sudden she's got people with her. You can't do it at the end because she's too tired. I've given up on my dream.
Yeah,
we will not have the Nevverse co-hosts.
I had a blast when that was a thing because Kenny would throw it at me, which is why he was my rival in my Temple of You.
Hell yeah!
Speaking of which, I have to show this out there because I just remembered right off the dome. Temple of You. If you go like retweet it and do it on Instagram and Facebook, you get entries for to win any skin that you want in Smite.
That's pretty based.
Yeah. I mean, you can go pick like Archon Thanatos if you want, or Dr. Sylvanas. You know, anything.
Dr. Vanus. Or Poseidon.
You can get a diamond skin if you want.
It would probably be Dr. Varnus for me.
Yeah, that's a good skin. Hachi Man games, played them a few times. Went 13, 7, 17 in Arena. I just played them here and there, played them some Conquest, lost those ones, even though one of them I was fragging. But there's a build that was built in the SPL this weekend, and it's ability-based Hachi. And I've played this before and thought, this isn't too bad. I watched it get played this weekend, and I'm thoroughly convinced that it's still not that bad because Bluestone's insane. And you do Bluestone, Aussie, Crusher, Dominance, Heartseeker,
Uh,
and I forgot where they're ending the last item. But
Probably a
kind of
Kins.
slaps.
Is
you're
it
still
the
100.
Probably Kins.
attack speed bluestone or the regular bluestone?
Either would work.
I don't. I think they went brooch. I don't think they did attack speed one when they
Okay.
upgraded it. But I'm a big
Correct.
advocate of the attack speed one
I want it to be good. I want it to be
against
great.
certain comps.
Yeah.
If they have like double, triple auto attack, I think you buy it.
Mm-hmm.
But that doesn't happen too often. I don't know. I wish it was better because Bluestone Brooch is nuts. That item is insane.
Yeah.
Which is why assassins are
Yeah,
still
even
building
junglers are
Bluestone.
buying it, right?
Yeah, they're not like junglers aren't buying jungle starter items. Like we've seen a couple Eye of the Jungles. No one's buying Bumbas. No one's buying mannequins. It's literally just Bluestone gamers.
Yeah, I bought, what is it, the eye one, right?
Yeah.
The one that gives you power and all that on Najah yesterday. Because I'm like, all right, it'll help me. I can use my ring on the, and it did help early game. You can use your ring on the one and then run to the next one and clear that with autos easier, right? It does work for that. And there are enough like creeps that if the jungle's full, you can go from one to the next and it works really, really well. But the problem is I just felt like I was lacking a bit of damage on everybody else comparatively.
Yeah.
Because like there was too many times like they would just get away or like, yeah. And
Yeah,
I feel like even the sustain wouldn't have mattered because I was Najah. I was already like, I can just push my 2. And the extra damage, cool, but they all get cleared on the AoE auto on the third one anyway, so.
Right. Well, I was gonna say, I think that's part of the problem is if you're in jungle and you're not building Bluestone, it's like you're at a disadvantage off the bat. Like from the beginning of the game, it's like you're behind, and that does not feel good. Obviously, there's a few that, like Mercury, you probably go Eye of the Jungle, due to how he is with movement speed and stuff like that, and you want that attack speed. But I mean, he could still build Bluestone and probably pop off too. I haven't tested it, but I mean, I imagine it probably is still good. Based off of the gods I've played using Bluestone.
I don't know if Merc would work with it.
I don't know if he would. I mean, I don't think it'd be terrible, but I think
actually,
you could probably get away
if we remove thinking of the passive, yeah, right.
Yeah, I think passive wise, that makes you go Eye. Other than that, I've played some Nox this week.
Oh yeah, we love
because
that.
got to get her to Diamond, and definitely did some Diamond Nox gamer type things, like going 14, 3, and 11 in an arena. And then yesterday, our Tsukiyomi left the game, and we were not to be dissuaded. And we were going to win a 4v5. Not only did we win a 4v5, I went 13-0 and 13 on Nox, and they were having a bad time. My Chronos was not happy that I was not only top damage, but had the most kills. They spammed OK at me after I rooted and did all the damage, and I got the kill. They're like, okay. I'm like, you hit one auto on a target that wasn't moving. What do you want?
Right.
I don't know. Just crazy
imagine
times.
being mad.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Imagine being mad
upset
for winning
about
a fucking
4v5.
Yeah.
Because your team has a Nox.
Other than that, I've
What
had some pretty crazy steals this week, which is nothing new for us. Stealing Gold Furies, stealing Fire Giants. It's my job. Played some Charybdis and Assault, popped off, which is fun. I have to give shout outs to Mir because they're mentioned earlier by Fro, and they're Celestial on Twitch, and then Mads the Lad, I think, in Discord. But she goes in solo lane for us the other day. Picks Bologna. She's like, I've never played solo. I was like, all right, well, today we'll learn. It's all good. Enemies of Guan Yu. That's not gonna be a fun time, unfortunately. And yeah, unfortunately, she got bodied by this Guan Yu for the first probably like 10 minutes of the game. Then mid game happened, and things got very, very bad for the enemy team because she's like, "Hey, I'm gonna start rotating." I was like, "Oh, I like the sound of this," and she just popped off. She would ult in, and boom, everybody's dead. Like we were just, as soon as she got there on the Bologna, we're just shredding through everybody. She pops off. I think she had like the most kills at some point. She's like, I have the most kills. I'm like, yeah, I mean, you've been ulting in and then just hammering down on people. It was awesome to see because like it's always rough when you start off and it's I'm getting bopped, I'm getting bopped, I'm
Mm.
dying continuously in this lane, and then to rotate and turn it around was pretty awesome. So shout outs to that. We did lose that game, but we played really well throughout it. And I've had a few 50+ minute games this week.
Oof.
Yeah, we had one where we base defended 5 different times while they had fire, including enhanced fire. And at that point, we'd wiped them a couple times, but we needed to take down towers, which is a big feels bad because I think we had like everything down. We were able to push everything down. Finally got a mid Phoenix, and I was like, all right, one more defense, guys. Like, surely we have this. And then we wiped and
Who you
we
calling
lost.
Shirley?
Yeah, it was a sad time. Someone in chat's like, "Can you make it to an hour?" And I was like, "God, I hope not." And then we lost at 55 minutes. I was like, "Well, that's not what I wanted to happen."
Oh
Um,
no.
yeah, yeah, fun times. But other than that, nothing too crazy. We got a new god this week. We'll talk about him in a bit, I suppose. I played him a few times.
Mhm.
Marticorus has a really good joke line.
Marty McFly, man.
Yeah.
Fucking who thought?
Have you heard his joke lines?
I have not.
He has one about dropping a jungle buff, and I think
Mm.
Hyrule. I think they really missed the mark here. I think when he dies, he should have dropped a fake jungle buff that if you walk over, like it makes another joke about the jungle buff. That would have been sick. That would have been awesome.
A fake jungle, but does nothing.
So his death
Does
animation should
nothing.
have been dropping a jungle buff.
Yeah, that's what we're saying. Then like if you walk over it, like it just spirals off that joke. Like there's a little thing like, oh, that's not a buff. I told you I'm not a jungle buff or whatever. Just something. Um,
Something along those lines.
yeah. But I'll have some thoughts about him when we talk about him in a bit. Other than that, 19, 8, and 16 on Soul. Soul's good. So go Burr. If
Mm-hmm.
you want to win games in ADC,
Magical ADC. Magical ADCs,
she's
yeah.
kind of good. She's kind of good. Played clean at ADC. We won, but that was rough. Don't do that to yourself. That's all I got. Depp, how's it
Nice.
going for you?
Depp, we recorded last week, and then Depp played Mode of the Days.
Yeah.
And then this morning comes around, and I played some Mode of the Days before we recorded. And that's kind of how my week's been. I didn't log any time on the keyboard and mouse Monday through Friday or Saturday. So I don't have a fresh release Marty experience.
Oh.
So I don't know if anything.
You haven't had the chance to party with Marty?
Yeah.
I have not partied with Marty. And to tell you, I haven't even faced Marty because my games last
lucky
week
you.
were pre Marty, and my games this week, Mode of the Day, hasn't shown up yet.
He hasn't blessed you in the
He
cooldown
hasn't.
turneth over.
Which I imagine would be frustrating.
Who's
He looks
editing
like
this
he's
week?
got.
Can we name the episode Party with Marty?
Yeah.
Mainly because I also
You know.
said I was going to steal the joke from Cher, and to piss off Flare Boot.
Yeah, well, I could see that.
Not literally piss him off. He just thinks it's a lame joke, and I'm like, so we're just going to ride the shit out of this thing, right?
Mm-hmm. As you do.
Mhm.
And just so everyone's aware, in my show notes, it is New God Marty McFly.
Yeah.
Um,
True. Very true.
Very true.
I'm looking at
right there, staring me in the face. No,
Staring at us.
like honestly, he flew up in his ult, and I was like, oh, the Manticore, cool. And then they called him like fucking Marticorus or something, and I'm like, oh, that's fucking Marty McFly right there. Flies up in his ult. Name's Marty.
His name. Okay, so it's Marty the Chorus, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because
The Manticore God.
The Manticore.
Yeah.
Because he actually comes from Persian and Indian mythology.
Mm.
And that is how his name is the Persian name.
Okay.
But we know him, and he became more popular in Greek mythology, where they pronounce Martichorus as Manticoras or Manticore.
Mhm.
That's all I
I
had.
still
That's all
think
I
I
had.
still
Sorry.
think his original video like 8 years ago is better. I think they should release that god. Um,
I'm
would
gonna
have had
need
a
to
much
watch
better
it.
kid. It was an April Fools from like
Oh, I
Yeah.
remember. Yeah.
a year 2 or 3. It was great.
Imagine if they would have given him an ability where he could drop a jungle buff for his team, but like every 90 seconds.
That what would they so I imagine he would be either a guardian or a warrior if that was the case. Probably leaning guardian.
Yeah, that would have been interesting. I don't know.
And so what would the buff be?
Oh, it'd just be like a mini buff of
Well,
one
right. So
buffs.
I imagine like giving like either protections and like HP 5 or MP 5 and
Hear me out.
power.
This
No, I'm
was the
talking about
one
like
opportunity to make a god that could hold every buff.
this is also true. The buff holder. That's what they
Because
could.
it's
Oh my
not
god, dude.
it's really not as strong as everyone likes to fucking make it out to be.
Oh, it's
You
definitely
have
not.
it, and they don't last long enough.
Yeah, I mean, look,
The
Tiamat's been
amount
out
of
for how
skill
long?
you
And
would have
she's
to take to line up every single jungle buff to get it would the first buff would be falling off by the time you get the last one. I'm convinced.
I did play Jing Wei and had 4 buffs on me the other day, and that felt really good.
Yeah.
Mostly because I couldn't see my character, which I was like, "This is awesome! I'm just a ring of buffs." That would have been. I don't know. They could have done. I think they could have done something interesting with buffs, but they didn't. He's a hunter,
well, especially
which I
when
also
they
think
they
is
split it
kind of
and you
strange.
can already like there's 2 speed buffs now, right?
Yeah,
Okay, we already have. Let's look at Tiamat. We already have Tiamat. She can already copy 1, right? So she can
yeah.
already hold the red buff. She can already hold the
Is
purple
it
buff, and
coded
now
so
you can
that
go
it
pick up
only
the fucking white
copies
buff.
one? Is it do we know for a fact that it's coded that it only copies one? Have people because you can drag the buffs now. Have people tried eating more than one buff?
I'm gonna tweet
I
Leaf
didn't even
Warrior
think
right
about it.
now.
But I
Like
could,
I didn't
I could do some science later.
because you think about it, you drag the 3 buffs together, right? Like that's kind of what's going on.
Yeah, there's no shot you copy all 3 and put them on yourself. You definitely whatever one falls first is the one you get.
Yeah.
But in the off chance,
In the off chance that you could get all 3 buffs.
maybe it puts 2 buffs on you because it would put the copied one of the copied ones as your second buff because you hadn't picked anything up yet.
Oh. Yeah, I
I
don't
don't know.
know
This
how
is a lot
that's
of
I
food for
don't know
thought.
I don't know how that's coded to
Yeah.
know, you know.
It definitely has to be whatever one drops first for the first one, but I don't know. Does it auto put another one on you?
Right, and then could you pick up the third
Yeah,
and roll into lane with 3?
that'd be wild. That would be good.
I'm
Early
telling you.
game, early game, that'd be
Early
kind of
game, that'd
crack.
be huge.
Yeah, you kind of just go burr.
Mhm.
Um,
Roll into lane with a mana buff and speed buff wearing the red.
yeah.
Huge. Huge.
I guess we can kind of talk about his kit a little bit. His passive is kind of wild, but he does have a special auto attack. And as a hunter player and just a player of Smite in general, his auto attack is very strange because it fires from the tail.
Yeah.
And it really makes it kind of hard to track sometimes, like where you're firing, because it doesn't always move with the body, like the tail faces. I don't know. It's one of those things you have to get used to. Because I remember when the first game I played of him, I was like, wait a minute,
Mhm.
what is happening here? If you're one of the people that have like the line on the ground, like the ruler, I don't know that it shows up correctly for him. But basically, his basic attacks deal 90% of his basic attack damage, and the additional 5% come from venom stacks over 2 seconds. So he has like a dot that consecutively hits as you attack, which is
Mhm.
kind of cool. But his passive is kind of wild. It's called monstrosity, and
Mhm.
basically you get stacks. You can stack it up to 100 times, and this comes from basic attacks abilities, earning kills, assists, whatever. But once it's maxed, he loses all of his ferocity and gains attack speed,
Hmm.
which increase the duration of his basic attacking, or you can increase it by attacking gods. But he also gains a permanent monstrosity stack of 1% physical and ability lifesteal. In
Hmm.
other words, this god's lifesteal potential is insane. The attack speed's 15%
Well,
plus
because
1% per
30,
level
30 and
for 20 seconds.
30%, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So you can imagine, like, I've messed around with a few things with him, but like you don't have to build lifesteal, but like go buy a soul eater, and that's kind of wild. Or
Yeah.
I ran Death Toll because
Are you telling
I'd
people
heard his
not to
auto
build
attack.
lifesteal when Aussie is just nutter butters right now?
I know. Well, that's the thing. I did Death Toll Aussie the other day,
Hmm.
even though the auto attack build isn't considered to be his best build.
Well,
My
that's just because the
lifesteal was
motherfucker
insane.
can be built like a like. It's a hell of a time to be playing Smite right now. You got mage ADCs running around, auto attacking your
Yeah.
asshole to death, and then you have Manticore out here being a physical mage, two-shotting you just pop pop with his 1-2, and you're like, what in the fuck
Yep.
just happened? Soul is like, yeah, 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 yeah. His fucking Freya's like pop 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 pop, and this dude just goes bang bang, and you're like,
Yeah. And the
what a
problem for
time
him
to
is
be
he plays
alive.
3 roles effectively. Like he's good in jungle too. And he'll just show up out of the jungle grass that he can make, and you're like, "Oh, there he is."
Yeah.
Um
I
his
Well, the
versatility.
the
I
dude's
wonder
got a
how
bloated kit
useful
for
it would
sure.
be to put, because the grass lasts indefinitely, right?
Yeah.
How useful it would be to put the grass just on the side lanes,
Yeah.
or on a side lane at like the 3 spots. Because like, well, I guess if you put a ward in there, it's no
They
good in
have to
that.
ward it. So they have to ward it. So they have to
Yeah.
spend money to ward it. That's a thing.
Or they're using the vision shard, which then they lose the utility of having one of the different ones.
But then you could just literally have those sitting there to be ganked at all times.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, shit, even the ADC could do it. He could just literally put them up on like the 3 main entrances right there, and at all times the jungler could just show up. Because what are you gonna
Yeah.
hide from in the side lane? Like, you know where you're at, right?
Well, so I'm looking here, Fro. It lasts 3 minutes.
I mean, they last a long time.
Yeah.
But you could also stack them together,
And,
and you could just make a jungle grass path. Like I've done that at Phoenix's. As long as
yeah.
the corners touch, you can walk through and be invisible, so they don't know which one you're in at the Phoenix push. There's a lot of strategy around it for sure.
Yeah, I
It's
had
really,
that
really good.
happen at a Phoenix push in an assault yesterday. Or it wasn't Phoenix push, it was the first tower. They just lined them up, the 3 spots, and it's like, It was a bit tricky, but on the same hand, who was I playing? Fuck, I forget who I was playing at that moment. But I was just fucking throwing abilities into the bush.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that was one of the Vulcan matches. Or no, because Vulcan. Yeah. Anyways, I don't remember who it was, but I remember I was just throwing your abilities in there, and my abilities were able to get it. Chiron, there we go. Haha.
So I'm reading through his abilities, right? And his basic attacks from stealth gain 10% additional basic attack damage up front and apply 8 stacks of venom. I'm not seeing anywhere what the venom it does. Does.
That's his basic attack where it's 5%. So each initial hit does 4 stacks. Consecutive hits refresh the stack and increase damage by 1 stack of maximum 8 stacks. It's his passive.
Oh, okay. Well,
Yeah. So like his auto attacks basically put a venom dot on you that deals additional damage.
so he gets additional damage. He can have 30% of both life steals.
Yeah.
He gains random 35% attack speed buffs when he hits those 100 stacks of ferocity.
Yep.
His one
His
levels
one is
into a
insane.
monster is slow.
Like that's
It's
not even the
huge.
crazy part of that ability. It's how far that ability gets shot.
Yeah.
Like I think it might be longer than toe through a wall with his longer shot. Words are hard right now.
And then there's his 2 being an anti-heal and a root.
Yeah,
that
and that
goes through
catches people off guard.
minions.
A lot of people are really thrown off by the root because I don't think they realize it.
Yeah.
But if you just throw it on the ground into a wave, it works like Chernobog's little bomb. Same idea.
Yeah.
And then stock prey, the grass is really cool because like you don't have a dash,
Right.
but
Well,
you
and
can
the
throw those
movement
in front
speed's
of you.
huge.
I'll
Yeah,
say
if
you
you
just throw
line those
those.
up, yeah, you don't even have to worry.
Yeah, you go zoom
40%
in.
movement speed.
Yeah, you're zooming. I've gotten away because of that ability. The ult is insanity
I mean, that's a
because
20% shred.
yeah, but you also go up in the air almost instantly. So you can get out of whatever you need to. I will say sometimes the way you're angled, the shots feel weird and it's easy to miss the shots
Yeah.
because of how you are. But if you're not having to worry about getting out of a situation, you're just going in, like putting that damage down onto a target is piece of cake. And if you're building ability damage, which he thrives on, like you go and
Oh,
you go to the
absolutely.
Bluestone, Crusher,
Yeah.
Aussie, you do a lot of damage. Like you basically are a physical mage. What Fro was
Right.
saying earlier, like you just blow people up.
Yeah, that's what this is. With auto attack synergy. Really.
Yeah, uh, he does have the worst jump animation in the game.
That's fine. I don't think anyone
Um,
expected anything
and I
great.
don't mean that, not the whole animation. Just sorry, the worst jump audio in the game. Let me correct myself.
Oh.
It is atrocious. Um, I actually won't jump on him because it hurts my ears. I just
Mm.
can't. I don't know why that was the sound he was given, but it makes me sad. But he is good.
Yeah.
I will say that. I don't think I've won a game on him though. Hold on, let me look. Nope.
No.
Straight L's.
Oh man.
Yep. 13, 4, and 5. Lost that game.
I mean, you
Yeah,
didn't
it was
lose
tough.
that game. You didn't lose that game.
Yeah.
Your team lost that game.
Actually, that game was against someone we knew. In that game, they had an Al Kwong
Uh.
public service announcement. That god's stupid and takes no. Like right now, his skill floor is very low. I feel like he went 19, 10, and 7. And that wasn't because we weren't looking for him, warding for him, and trying to kill him. Like, Jungle Ao Kwong's is dumb right now.
Yeah.
I don't know. I do think I don't think he feels as oppressive as people have said. I think obviously there's some things about his kit that could be tweaked though. I think the movement speed off the 3 is really, really high, but I don't think it's OP. He has no way to dash out. He has
There's
no
no
way to
dash.
escape.
Yeah.
Yeah. I do think the range on the 1 is probably the most wild thing I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Because it's up to 60. Like it's the range of an artillery mage. It's wild.
Well, and it's out like there's
You
a
can choose
distance
where
from
you could yeah,
right.
you could choose to fire it right at yourself or up to 40 and then it goes 60.
Yeah.
Like it is
That's to bring in the initial range, I think, right?
yeah. I think that's kind of problematic, but
Make him stand in his wave to hit the full enemy wave.
I was gonna say it doesn't do enough damage to clear early. You have
Oh,
to level
and
it a
sure,
couple
it's not.
times. So
Yeah.
it's not like it like is one of those ones where you do have some characters that automatically are able to clear like off the riff. His is a bit harder for sure.
Yeah.
But I do like him. I don't think he is absolutely oppressive like I've heard some people say. I do think he's kind of manageable. I would say his best part of the kit is that 3 though. To be able to put jungle grass down and make people think about where you could possibly be
Right.
is really unique and good, which also makes him good in jungle.
Yeah. I mean, like Chalice is a counter to him at that point.
Yeah, I'm a Chalice gamer. I buy Chalice.
Yeah. And
I
you'd
know a lot
want
of people
to
don't.
against him.
I know a lot of people don't, but the map's so big right now. As soon as I hit a gold lead that I don't need a power spike on, I'm buying it.
Yeah. I don't know. See, here's the thing too. It's like I feel like by the time you're getting Chalice early on, right?
Yeah.
Like at that point in the game, he should have enough MP5 that he could just cast his 2 or 3 more times, and then that ward is useless. You know?
Yeah, I mean, I think you get the cooldown down to like 10 seconds or something like that.
Yeah.
When I was playing him the other day, I was like, dude, I have this thing all the time.
Right.
That's pretty cool. Still doesn't feel like super fantastic as an escape, but I do like it
No.
as an initiation. As an
Yeah, it's
initiation, I think it's
definitely a
really good.
setup. You set that at like the entrances to your jungle.
Yeah, well, it's a ward for you. If they cross it, they show up.
Yeah.
So I mean,
Put that
it
in
does.
some intersections. You could have a teammate chilling in there.
Yeah, we did it with the jungler a few times. I'm like, hey, just come chill in this bush.
Yep.
And like I said, if you stagger them right from the jungle, because you as long as the corners touch each other, you can go through and walk through and viz.
Mhm.
So they're none the wiser.
I could see Maui being an excellent matchup against him.
Maui's cracked anyway.
Yeah.
That god is very, very good. We ban him a lot for comp because he just offers so much to his team. Even after nerfs, like his ultimate
Yeah.
does so much.
Well, and I'm just thinking like Marty goes up in his ult. Just start swinging for a bit.
Yeah.
You
Just wait.
completely avoid just all of the damage.
Well, not only that, he has to come down, and then you just
Yeah.
catch him with the landfall. He doesn't have a way to escape.
No, it's like if you see him going through some grass, you could just pop.
Yep.
And then
I
he's
do.
back.
I do think he is very counterable, but I do also think he's just good in multiple roles right now, and it takes people time to learn kits.
Oh, for
But
sure.
I don't think he goes absolutely nuts like people are
No.
saying. I've seen a couple good ones, but overall, like I feel like he's on the more manageable side of God releases. Like he's strong, but not OP.
Overpowered, yeah.
Yeah.
Which I think is one of the best places a God release can be.
Yeah, those are my favorite ones
Strong.
because like
Yeah.
then the tweak down for nerfs
It doesn't
so
feel
atrocious.
nearly as bad. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not like Gilgamesh, right? Where he got like I don't even know how many nerfs. I think it was like 13 in total
many.
before they got him to where he
Yeah.
is.
Too many.
Yeah.
Please buff.
Please,
Yeah,
please.
please bring him back, please. I miss Gilgamesh.
I want another star. I got
want
one.
another
I need more.
Other than that, I think that's all we got for Marty McFly.
I think that's all we have for Marty McFly. And do we want to announce our guest next week? Pro Double G.
I mean, since we're doing it, yeah. You brought it up. So yes, we are. Yeah, next week we're gonna have J2 Ruto on. That's J, the numerical letter 2. Ruto, Ruto. Go check out his stream. He's a really cool guy. He's on Smite Game as well. If you have any questions, post in our hashtag guest questions channel.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And with this releasing on Tuesday night, Wednesday, as is our tradition, I would recommend getting, listen right away, get those questions in.
Yep.
Because we
You'll
record
have until Sunday.
Yep. Gotta love it. And then, of course, while we're on reminders, CC reminder, get your submissions in, and Diamond Challenge reminder. We were talking about that in our games this week. I haven't made any progress on mine, but I feel like it's one of those where it's like I could get it done.
It's 2 times worshippers this weekend.
It is 2 times worshippers.
Oh fuck!
I'm
I should
considering
probably
finishing
out a few
Nox.
games.
Yeah, now's
Boys,
the time.
should we do an all mage arena? I'm just saying.
Oof.
It's hard. It's hard to do on Sundays because MOT exists or
MOTD does. Yeah. You're right. Well, did we want to get into the spicy conversation we were having before we were recording, or do we want to?
So there's a two-parter of it. Yeah, we can touch on it real quickly. So I was in a stream the other day, and someone had brought up the Hogwarts video game, right? And they had mentioned that, there's a lot of different people that play that game, and how there was trans people who played, there's LGBT people who played, and there's regular people who played. I was just in chat, right? But I did get a little upsetty spaghetti here, and I wanted to touch on it here because this is my platform, our platform.
Yeah.
When you say something like that, even if you aren't trying to be, you are inherently, in the way you say that sentence, saying that LGBT people and trans people are not regular humans. That's just what it is, because you are in that wording alone separating them. You gotta just be careful to saying that shit, guys, right? And like I brought it up with everyone here. My part of the problem is it shows the mentality that, like, somewhere in there you do kind of have that thought process. Now, even if it's not with contempt, like it comes out even in your speech. Yeah, it's just something I wanted to touch on because I got a little upset about that one. It's
I was gonna say,
and I know we're not really like a political podcast or anything like that, but it's kind of like under the same thing when like people use the term like sexual preference.
yeah.
It's not a preference. It's just literally who they are. Because anyone who also uses the term preference, you got to kind of stop and be like, well, when's the time you decided that you literally had to have the conversation with yourself on what genitalia you considered attractive? I'm just saying.
Well, I was gonna say, like, I run into this with teaching a lot because, like, there's obviously conversations about, hey, this person identifies this way, and they're like, just do your best, is usually the synopsis. But I'm like, it's not that hard. Like, if kids are allowed to go by their nickname, what's the difference? Like, I have a kid I've coached, just one state, uh, identifies male, is female, but identifies male. And, like, I don't see the problem with that. Like, and then, obviously they
I'm
wanted
going
to
to
be
help
called
you,
by a different
Blaise,
name.
because even in that
And
wording right there, there's a bit of stumbling. There's a term called AFAB, assigned female at birth.
right.
Because even when you're there, you're like, identifies as male but is a female. Okay, this gets in a huge, whole convoluted thing for
He's
a smart
trying to
podcast.
explain the situation to us, not intentionally talk down about someone.
No, I know he's not. That's why I'm not giving
like,
shit. I'm just like, that's why, like, here's a term.
Well, the reason I bring it up is because, like, it's a big problem for athletics, right? In the sense of, like, you have to end up wrestling, running, whatever, basketball, whatever sport it is that your identity assigned at that point at birth, like, that plays an impact of what you're allowed to play.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what I was bringing up, is like, it's a struggle on that front that I see often. And there are some takes on that front that are not great. But it's nice to see someone be successful and not let them hold them back, because I've got to see that recently, and I think that's awesome.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
And I wasn't trying to give you shit there. I'm just like, here's a term to help you along the way.
Yeah, I got you.
Because Blaise and I have had many conversations about this. Like, we both know where each other stands, and we're pretty side by side on this. So,
agreed. And I was gonna say that, and this kind of sparked out of other conversations about other video games, and the other video game being like Atomic Heart, which the allegations towards that game didn't have all the backing necessarily, and proof that we obviously know about the issues with J.K. Rowling and Hogwarts Legacy. Like, we know the the staunch and very terrible perspective that she decides to share. But we didn't have that same type of issue when it came from Atomic Heart, because that was the other game in question, because I was there. And that one didn't have the same proof behind it. It said, hey, these are the things that are happening. And if you go and you do a little bit of research about Atomic Heart and the developers behind it and things like that, you find out, well, man, the developers really don't agree with what people are saying. In fact, one of them donated like most of, if not all of his salary to Ukraine, which is insane. So that's where that conversation had originally sparked out of. I don't think the two are equivalent in any way. I've been very vocal about.
No, just one level
I
the other.
personally believe that Hogwarts Legacy. I don't see how that game wins any awards at all. It doesn't matter if that game is the best game ever made. I think it's gonna have a hard time winning any awards because of its ties to rolling. And that's just my opinion on it. I fully support people not buying that game. I mean, I did the same thing with all the Blizzard allegations. I quit buying Blizzard stuff. I was like, I'm not going to support it. I'm not going to play it. I'm not going to buy it until they actually have consequences for their actions and things happen.
See, here's the thing. I don't really know if you can, per se, have any consequences for her actions because she's just sharing opinions.
You can't.
Bad
You can't.
opinions, right?
Yeah.
It's just a lot of people don't want to necessarily continue to fund her. Right. And a lot of the people, the argument's been made, like, well, they bought the rights to make it, blah, blah, blah. She's not going to make any further money. The money that she's made has already been made, right?
Yep.
Apparently forgetting how capitalism works, that if you just don't buy a product, even if it's already made and the engineers who designed it got paid already, you don't buy the product because you don't support it, right?
Yeah.
And then they don't make another product. And maybe the engineer sells off the patent. In that case, feel free, and then that's what some people's logic is with that behind it. But on the other hand, I do see the people who are saying, like, the money's been made, so I bought the game, right?
Right.
There is something to be said that I'm only one out of millions. I do wholeheartedly believe. I think there's this weird push on, like, everyone has to try to be, like, the one that they can make the change independently, when it's like, well, yes, individuals can make changes independently. Also, one of millions.
Yeah. Well, and we talked about there is like sites and groups of people that are if you stream the game, like they send you not great things, no matter the size of streamer that you are. And I think that I don't know if that's the right approach on that front. I fully support people not purchasing it, but just because someone purchased something doesn't mean they share the same thought processes of the original creator of the content that has now been purchased by another platform. Because I could go on a whole thing about Twitter and it being purchased by Elon Musk or whatever. But that's a conversation for another day.
Yep. It was just something fresh in their minds, so we wanted to kind of touch on it. And again, sorry for everyone. We know that's not Smite related at all. It's just kind of more ranty and a little more.
It is Smite related. I don't care what you are. If you're a shitter in my game, I'm gonna call you out for being a shitter in my game.
Oh, you're not, Deb. You're just gonna sit there and chat and be like, "Wow, this guy's kind of a shitter."
Well, like if they're actively toxic.
I had one of those yesterday. I had a Yamoja.
There's a difference. You get those actively toxic people in your games, and there's something about them. And it's like, oh, you're getting a little emotional there, bud.
I've had one of those yesterday, Deb.
Ooh,
what do you think about someone that trades for the role, gets the role,
gets the role,
feeds, and feeds is a strong word.
It's not. It's a clear definition.
Because like they didn't die a lot, but they like purposely put the team in bad positions, complained, and then decided since they picked support, which they wanted, they decided to start building damage as Yamoja.
What do you say to them?
That's a fun time.
You say GG, easy report.
Yeah, I mean that's what ended up happening.
Didn't play assigned role.
But I just can't, like, if you requested the role.
Yeah.
Right. and so you're my Yamoja support.
Yep.
We're in the lane. You decide to step up, do some crazy stuff. I don't want you to die, so I step up with you. You pop med after I've left, so I get none of the healing while you stand in the wave. I'm like, okay, that's fine, whatever. If you die, that's your problem. But then you proceed to call mid lane the problem while we're in duo because we got ganked. If you would put some words up, I might have known. Go to mid, spam attack to get 3 people to go in with you, and then you just leave. Don't do anything. Don't heal. Don't do anything your kit actually has in it, and walk away, and then spam. Okay. Man, if you guys are terrible. You told them to attack. Just follow suit, or don't.
The amount of people this week
don't say it.
that have told me to attack and didn't follow up. Frustrating.
Yeah, it's a fun time.
Yeah, attack is one of my least favorite VGS. Gotta say.
Yeah, I hate it.
Yeah, because it whoever calls it just never fucking attacks, and it's like, dude, you call it attack, I am ready to dump kit on a motherfucker. And then you'll be like, attack, and then you'll like throw an auto at them. Like, get the fuck out of here. What's your raw auto gonna do? I'm expecting fucking laser beams.
Yeah, throw your 3 forward so I can get some healing while I'm taking these autos to the face.
Attack. Drops a heal on the back line. It's like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Yamoja spammed attack, had him in a corridor, didn't throw a Riptide or ult. Like, either of those things happened, and they were both up. And I know this because there was enough Omni, and there hadn't been an ult used. That's a kill. I don't care who's in there. Yeah. If there's 3 people and you're fighting 2, that's an elimination unless you completely whiff everything.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, just a wild time. But you gotta build for a step. Is that where we're going? You gotta build. Got a fun build.
I don't know.
Oh, well, that makes
sense. I was just mentioning that we need to bring that back as a segment.
I agree.
The shitter builds is it's calling to me. Your games earlier with or Fro with the Zeus. Your game with the Zeus made me think, oh, this is perfect for a shitter build segment. We just I need to pin the snipping tool to my taskbar, I think. And then at the end of the game I can just do it real easy, like Alt tab, get a snip in. But I think that brings us to the end of another episode of Battleground of the Gods. And before we leave, Fro Double G, would you like to throw out some thank yous for us?
I really would like to throw out the thank yous for you, and I'm totally not vamping because I am ready to say thank you to all of our wonderful patrons: Aereo Steel, Asbestos Dog, Bree, Chia Pet, Weatherman Keith, Jade Flagon, Baseball, Griff, Bombi. I'm just going to fucking change it. I'm going to go in and change it so I don't even have to try to reword it. Jade Flagon, Baseball, Griff, Bombi, Danny, Caveman, Neo, Coffin Monkey, CDR, Litz, Gilly, Snorlax, Weatherman, Adios, Sir Ember, K Brojo, Famous Freak, Stoffmeister, Backlash, Sadons, Dr. Godfucker, Lantern, Reese, Warlord Yo, Bats Kid, Echo Dunk, Doc, Necros, Otter Joe, Riggs, Dracon, Glen Wiggle, Granite Boys, Camel Hoss, Void vs. Void, Enbright, Sloppy Satch, Scion Gemini, Batman, Sandman, Aquasoft, Kilowatt Man, I'm a Hater, Mr. Man, Colorado, Amberbug, Folk Hero, and the Big Red.
Yeah, thank you guys. We love you, big heart hands.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Heart hands and shit.
Yeah.
And stuff.
It's all manly like. Manly heart hands.
Yeah.
Manly heart hands.
Manly heart hands.
Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, let's go.
Bye.
Bye. I was just hung up the Discord call.